Hi, it's Michelle Sargent, your host to Glow Through Life's Transitions. Welcome back. And to address our first transition of the day, Kita Spock is with us today, and she is going through her own transition. She just moved, got her connections, but unfortunately, we do not have a video of her. But she is here with us. Can you say hello to our viewers, please?
I sure can. I'm live.
Hi, and Kita is an author and a happiness expert. So Kita, if you could tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started in writing books and being a happiness expert.
Yes, of course, Michelle. And thank you again for letting me be here. My background is in public relations and writing, professional writing. And as things do happen to people in life, I had a number of challenges that I had to close off. And when I did that, had to do some searching. And within the searching, those brought me to taking my writing beyond the business corporate and to a more personal end. And that search also caused me to ask this big question: I'm not happy, or why am I not happy? And what do I need to either do or be in order to find that happiness? And that word "find" is as a double-edged sword. If we talk about that more, you'll realize that happiness is not outside of you, but is inside of you. But sometimes you have to do a search to go all the way around and come back to yourself. In that all the way around back to myself, I ended up writing some children's books. I have 3 boys. For that reason, I was, first of all, making up stories and then writing them. And that prompted me to then publish my first book. Later, I ended up working with big kids, the adults. And in that respect, again, identifying key elements of happiness, which was, again, the end of my search and my understanding of what it is to be fulfilled, calm, and enjoying life rather than running after it. So the books, Tipping Point to Happiness, came out first, and then, of course, my latest book, The Simple Life, Shiny Objects Not Required.
Yes, and with that book, can you tell us a little about what that book means to you? Simple Life and also Shiny Objects
Not required.
Not required.
Well, in terms of finding self-fulfillment, sometimes we surround ourselves with lots of distractions, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
And these distractions can be anything from overwork to saying yes to a lot of people, to filling our lives with what maybe our kids need, to the point where we are on a treadmill and we really don't know what we're up to because we're going so fast and we're so busy with these externals that we neglect ourselves. Namely, we neglect to look inside and become aware of what our own needs are. So the Simple Life addresses those basic needs. The 6 chapters are set up to anchor these 6 elements. So for instance, chapter 1 is sex and sleeps, representing the letter S. Okay. I is me, myself, and I, and it continues. It's about 100 pages, really easy to read, because like you, like me, like all of us, we're very busy and overwhelmed sometimes, so a quick read is the best read.
And you touched on it already. As women, we are so busy. How do we find the time to find our happiness?
All right, that's a very good question. The fact that some of you are listening and looking at us here already tells us that you are becoming aware. And I think awareness is the first step to understanding that something is not in sync in your own life. There is an imbalance, either because of the irritations of the externals, the over fatigue, the frustration, the idea that I don't understand it, but people seem happy, but I'm not. What's wrong with this picture? Well, in essence, everything's right with that picture, because when you are aware, that is, to me, a great, great signal that you are becoming more mature in appreciating and understanding what you want your life to be. You could choose to be constantly distracted, and here's where those shiny objects come in.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of maybe addressing what is in turmoil inside of you, you might end up, oh, I got to go get shopping done, more shopping done.
Oh, yes.
Or some of us maybe filling that sense of longing or need with food. And that's why food becomes a great preoccupation among many women, because we are more emotionally set to want to fulfill our own immediate emotions. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's when we are looking in the wrong places to fulfill those emotional gaps, such as I mentioned, eating or something like that, then the problems, the issues arise. And you're wondering why you feel empty when you've just finished a bag of chips.
Right.
And I remember there was a time when I'd easily go through a row or two of Oreos and think nothing of it. Felt sated initially, that short term, and that's that high you get, which is completely normal. And then all of a sudden you crash, but you're not crashing just from the sugar. You're crashing from the fact that your emotional deficit has only been increased. It has not been satisfied.
Right. And especially when you get a little older too, and you're having all those snacks, your metabolism definitely isn't where it used to be. And that just is more frustrating and to you, and you just, are less happy.
Yeah, the thing is, it's a vicious circle, and the initial sense is, I'm a failure, I can't do it, or you might even start calling yourself stupid because perhaps the fatigue that's set in from trying to meet everybody else's wishes has prompted you to get into a brain fog. And by the way, brain fog is not only from fatigue, but also from food, processed food. So that kind of combination in one way is deadly, Michelle. Then maybe you're not sleeping at night. You're ending up with a form of insomnia because you're worried and frustrated about where your life is heading. So all these things sort of piled on one on each other cause the fallout, cause the state of overwhelm. And so the book, The Simple Life, even the act of simplifying your life through awareness is key to getting that load off you. First, awareness. Secondly, what is it that I need to do first? Not everything. And here's the key. One thing at a time, one thing over a period of time in order to perhaps improve or remove, depending on what it is, and then address the second and third and maybe fourth issue, instead of looking at the entire mountain and going, oh my God, I can't do all of this. And of course,
instead of saying, I need to lose weight, I need to get organized, I need to find a new job, I need to find a new career, or like things like that.
Exactly. You're saying exactly the right thing. I think a lot of us, when we are addressing our issues, we tend to look at all of them and say, okay, it's got to be an all or nothing thing. Human beings tend to be like that. And you got to give yourself a break and go after one thing, address one thing at a time. If you are, let's say, overweight